been a while since we've done horror stories. Let's do it. Blue's Clues. My childhood. So this is no clues. Let's go. If you enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. Follow my Twitch, Twitter, link in description. My Discord's gonna be linked in description, but not linked. It's gonna have my numbers and name in it. And I better hurry this up. I have to hang out with my peoples. It's been a while since I hang out with my friends and stuff. Alright. Let's get ready. I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was a crisp autumn morning with a lot of leaves in the air. It was November, and I was around 9 years old. I was happy it was Saturday. My mom had to run some errands, and my dad was at work on Saturday. I had to take care of my 1-year-old twin sisters. So did my older sister. I was the only boy child, and I grew out of Blue's Clues when I was 4, because for some reason, I thought it was too girly. It was only 2001, so I wasn't really surprised that my 15-year-old sister just suggested a Blue's Clues VHS. Oh boy. Oh, but there was something funny about it. Steve was saying the title of it in a depressed emotion. The top of the speech bubble was ripped off, showing a red... Where is it? Showing a red VHS, the back and the other sides were all completely white. Mommy got this for us to watch, my older sister said. You sure about this, Julie? I said. Don't worry, I got all of our backs if there is something wrong, Johnny. My older sister, Julie, replied. Is this written like a screenplay or something? Plus, everyone's awake, so I'm trying not to be loud. Julie put the VHS into the player, where the coming soon to video cassette was supposed to be. Was just a timer for when the feature presentation was coming on. It kept shooting to static most of the time instead of the Paramount feature presentation that I expected, like on all of my Rugrats. Great wording there, man. All my Rugrats VHS tapes. Instead, it was just the 1995 Paramount Mountain sitting there motionless. Julie and I talked with each other, thinking that the VHS was just a special. After about 20 seconds waiting, a weird Nick Jr. logo came on. The Nick was walking in a straight motion with the Jr. following along. This was silent and it went on for 10 seconds. My little twin sisters were getting tired, so we stopped at the VHS and put the twins, their names are Danielle and Hannah, in their cribs. Julia and I wanted to see why this VHS was so weird. As we got back to the family room, the VCR said play on top left corner. We didn't even touch play anyway, we kept watching. The Nick Jr. logo was still going, and for 20 seconds, I told Julia to eject the tape. She went to the VCR, pressing the stop eject button repeatedly. She gave up and said it's useless. I told her to just keep watching, so we watched it together. The Blue's Clues intro started, but instead of the joyful guitar music, there was the present piano music. Steve said, "Hi out there, it's me, Steve. Have you seen Blue, my puppy?" in a voice that sounded nothing like Steve. A shock of static jolted across the screen. Blue was in cheesy CGI instead of paper animation. But when the Blue's Clues house door opened, we see a man that looked nothing like Steve, though he was wearing the same clothes as Steve. Oh, that notification from my boy Paris. Man, shout out to you, Paris. Then the TV bursted with static, and when the episode came back on, Steve was back to normal. Steve said, "Hi, come on in. Today, we won't play Blue's Clues." But the title says Blue's Clues. Rip off. The background kid said in a confused voice, "Why not?" The screen saw a tiny burst of static revealing a grotesque corpse of Blue. Oh no. Rest in peace, Blue, my fam. Blue was on her back with her intestines tied all around her. Blue's eyes were popped out of her sockets, revealing green CGI eyes. Well, at least you got Blue's gender right. Most creepypastas says he, when Blue's a girl. I almost threw up, but I held in my puke. Julia wasn't even sickened by this. That's because she has a thick stomach. Wow. It cut back to Steve. Steve was smiling very big at a rate where CGI wasn't that realistic with effects in 2001. Steve said, "You kids will learn about death." I've heard this story thousands of times, dude. I forgot. But TV turned to static for a boring 2 minutes. Julia and I talked about it. This was actually made by Paramount. Julia called 911 and she told me the line was cut. We had to watch the whole thing then. After the static ended, Steve said that he would be playing a special game. The background kids cheered. Excuse me. He went to side table jewelry. Side table said, "Blues clue them so X." A loud gunshot ran through the screen, changed to black, and Steve laughed in a soft voice. After the screen faded back, we see Mr. Salt with red, bloody eyes and Mrs. Pepper with white eyes and sharp teeth, so realistic it feels like you can touch them. Steve asked if they wanted any juice. The couple said, "Sure thing." Static once again shot across the screen. I could make out 666 in the static. Julia asked if I saw 666. Obviously, I said yes. So we snuggled up with each other, waiting for the worst to come. That stuff's not real. It's just superstitious. The devil hour does not exist. The episode came back on with Steve saying, "Here you go, 2 servings of yummy juice." Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper were in cheesy CGI this time. They drank Steve's juice and liked it. "Yummy, what's in this?" Mr. Salt asked. "Cyanide and poison, of course," Steve replied. "What?" Mrs. Pepper screeched. Suddenly the two were coughing up salt and pepper out of the bottles instantly instead of blood. Julia and I watched in horror as the 2 alive, inanimate objects suffered to meet their fate. I'm not struggling with this story like I do with the others. I don't know why. Then after all of his sakers were dead, Steve skidooed into the picture frame and put both felt friends into a wooden boat, which there was a lagoon of lava. But as the felt friends got into the boat that was on the lava, the boat burned and the felt friends burned to death, and Steve was happy then skidooed back. Steve was satisfied of his accomplishment. He kept going. Sybil and Pale were in the backyard, and they looked sad, and all they were doing was staring at a live action clock that resembled Tickety Tock. Sybil said in a 5-year-old boy's voice, "Poor Tickety Tock." Bale, I'm so stupid. I have to hurry this up because it's been a while since I've talked to my peoples. So, Pale said in a 5-year-old girl's voice, "I miss Periwinkle. Where'd you go?" Periwinkle, he was in the show for only 1 year back then. Steve came and said in an old man's voice, "And you're next." "No," Sybil and Pale said. Steve closed his eyes for 3 seconds and opened them, revealing bloodshot eyes. Sybil and Pale screamed and ran away from the so-called Steve. Steve sang "Ring Around the Rosie" in a creepy little girl's voice. He found Pale and grabbed her by the handle. Pale was blood-curdling screaming as blood shot all over the place. Sybil started crying to his sister's death and sprinted away. What the am I reading? Sybil started running to the front yard where he found Mailbox. Sybil told Mailbox to run, but Mailbox said he couldn't. He was stuck to the ground. The voice of Mailbox sounded like Steve for some reason. Sybil whispered to himself, "I'm coming with you, Pale." Steve came and said, "Hello, little Sybil, wanna play?" Sybil answered, "Okay." Steve shoved Sybil into Mailbox's mouth. With Mailbox's mouth closed again, Sybil's neck, with Steve holding Mailbox's mouth closed when the 2 died. Steve sprinted in the house with static jolting around again for 1 minute. I'd watch this episode. After the static was all gone, we saw Steve and Slippery Soap. Slippery was blindfolded. "Are you ready for your present, Slippery?" Steve asked, all fake happy. Slippery said in Periwinkle's voice, "I'm always ready." Steve counted 1, 2, 3, a nice sliced Slippery Soap in half. Steve was happy. "Satan is my king. I must kill myself to make him happy," Steve said. Suddenly, the screen turned black, and a rope sound came out of the blue. A rope sound. Then it cut to Steve hanging from a noose, and it faded to black. The Nickelodeon logo came on, and it was shaped as a knife on the handle. There was a small label with the number 666 on it. Also on it was text saying, I can't make that out. Julia told me it was Morse code for "your turn." There were no credits. The screen then blasted with static, and the power went out. I will never forget the day I remembered. It was November 17th, 2001. That was the day our family changed. I got paranoia and had to see a therapist. No one except my family believes what I saw. Julia has a condition where she doesn't sleep a lot, and her husband is always trying to calm her down. Is it C15? To make her sleep. Danielle and Hannah are now very crude and like gore. They are mean to certain people. My mom is always depressed and hates her job. She wants to be at home and cry all day. My dad got into a car crash on his way to work. He is now in a wheelchair and can't walk. I wish this never happened. The VHS got smashed to bits by Julia. That Blue's Clues VHS is why my family is like this. At least it's gone now. I call VHS Blue's Clues No Clues. It's my nightmare. At least I'm alive for now. Scratched up VHS tape. That looks so real, dude. There's 127 comments. Let's read some. With no clues on Blue's Clues. He was lost his mind. Uppercase is Morse code and lowercase is not Morse code. I just rickrolled back then. Where's Demon Devil category? Why there's so many references? Ah, that looks cool actually. Turno. Bro, this story's cringy. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. This is way worse than Peppa Pig Early Reel and SpongeCard.avi. I don't know the fact that this so even got its own reboot. Blue probably looks like this. Yeah. Oh, that was fun. So that was Blue's Clues, No Clues, or whatever. I don't know what. I'll go make the. I already made the thumbnail, so I might as well go on and. Dude, that looks dope. So during the meantime, here's a picture of Blue. And I'll see you guys later, and I'm gonna talk to my fam, and my peoples. And I'll see you guys in the next Creepypasta video or whatever I decide to make.